Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Charade Maniacs. Bird, don't bite my chin. Bird is with me. Of course he is. He's with me most of the time, because he can't be left alone. Anyway. Yeah, just continuing where we left off. We got our emotions back! Yay! I don't know. Acting like a robot when I talk was kind of fun. I don't think I did it that great, but anyway. I don't know if I want to know if that's true or not. Like, don't tell me. I practically ran away from everyone and went to my room. I dragged Tomose by the hand all the way there. That was embarrassing. I already knew how Tomose felt about me, and everyone already knew that Tomose had feelings for me. But that's not the issue here. I considered how I could share my thoughts with him, but then our eyes met and he smiled. What's wrong? What's so funny? Nothing. I just realized we've been holding hands a lot recently. I feel so happy that you're leading me by the hand. That's not fair. I can't respond with anything if he says that. I also felt happy. I remembered when I had my emotions stolen, and I realized there was so much I wanted to say. Tomose had worried so much for my sake and thought hard about a solution. I saw everything with my own eyes. I was next to him but couldn't say anything. My pent-up feelings from that time flowed like a torrent inside my heart. But it's perfect timing since we're alone now. I didn't properly apologize to you. You say that, but you have such a smug look on your face. Huh? Tomose looked meekly at me in spite of the feelings I had right now. I'm sorry I pushed you so far into a corner that you were willing to take the... that you willingly took. I thought it said willing to took, and I'm like, I swear to God, game, I'm gonna throw hands. No, that was just me. Anyway. I'm sorry I pushed you so far into a corner that you willingly took the punishment game. I only thought of myself, and I... Tomose, it's fine. I heard everything. I remember everything you said to me. I understand just how much you care about me. I should be the one to apologize. So let me apologize to you one more time. I'm sorry I caused you trouble and doubted you. I'm sorry I didn't believe in you. No. Tomose, because you talked to me so much, it helped me remember what kind of a person you were when I believed in you. Even while I didn't have any emotions, Tomose, you were always... Well, I like how he flashed to that bad CG, with them shoving us down. You were always... I mean, except for that time that you shoved me down, but like, what else? I remembered something I shouldn't have. Granted, Tomose didn't do anything that I didn't want. Maybe he was trying to instigate anger in me to draw out some kind of emotion. Well, yeah. I mean, I feel like that could be valid. Makes me a little angry. Looking back, it seems like... What's wrong? Is there something else? It's nothing! Don't worry about it! You became quiet because there's something... Tell me. I'll apologize if there's something bothering you. It's not that at all. Hey, when we started to have those misunderstandings because we were keeping things from each other, let's stop keeping quiet and holding it in. She's like, it's just, I remembered when you shoved me down and I realized I like it. Girl likes it. Don't we all? Listen, it's not the same as shoving me against a wall, but I'll take it. Ibana better shove me against a wall, that's all I'm saying. Listen, Iochi did. So that works. Iochi also stabbed me, so that's another thing. Ibana has glasses. I love that our freaking thing for Otome boyfriends is like, Iochi shoved me against a wall and stabbed me. So yeah, I like that shit. Also is fabulous, so works. And then, Ibana has glasses. He's also got the salty attitude. We like the bitchy one with the glasses. It's always perfect. Listen, glasses sweethearts are great, but the glasses assholes are just... Oh, they're like cheesecake for my soul, okay? Just amazing. But like, listen, I'm not gonna... The childhood friend that's like not my favorite type of character, but like, I don't hate Tomose. Tomose's fine. We're having fun here. And shoving me on the bed? Sure. I'll take it. Gives you points. Sometimes you just gotta, you know? Childhood friend with glasses who pushes you against a wall, shoves you down, and stabs you? I mean, I might be sold then. 100%. I got problems. Oh, who's also my brother. Guys, I have so many problems. Jesus. Tomase was completely serious. I was quiet just out of embarrassment, so I kept backing away while Tomase moved closer. I said what I did earlier in front of everyone so I could be completely honest about what I was thinking. Even if our ways of thinking may differ, I want you to understand. So that's why. Alright, then here goes! Tomase looked desperate when he inched closer to me. We ended up by the bed, just like the other time. Oh, are you gonna shove him down? That'd be awesome. My heart's pounding. Tomase, when you talked with me in this room, you did that on the bed. I was too embarrassed to say he pushed me down on the bed, but he seemed to understand exactly what I meant. Now he's got that brooding, angry look. Oh, now that you mention it. Don't say it like that. It's not that it bothers me, but looking back, it feels really embarrassing. You don't mind it. But if I didn't now, you'd get mad. And the bed is behind you, so I could push you onto it if I wanted. I mean, not opposed. I'll allow it. Of course I would get mad. Shh. No, we wouldn't. Mose took a step back while laughing. He was out of reach. Like, of course I get mad because I'm going to throw you down on it. Girl, come on. Tits up. Let's do this. Don't make me read it, though. I won't do it again. No matter what. I won't force my feelings on you anymore. Yeah, no matter what. I nodded, feeling a sharp pain in my heart. Yeah, because now he's going to, like, move on and fall in love with Iochi, and you're going to be jealous. I would be, too. So. Wait. Confusing pain felt suffocating. I thought we'd return to the way we were, but that was my intention. So what's this lonely feeling? The distance between us was further than it seemed. I blamed Tomose for being selfish, but right now I was being moved by my own selfish impulses. I don't want this. Before I realized it, I was holding his hand. I walked up to him. I wasn't really thinking, I just kind of acted. See, what did I say? Like, when we get our emotions back, it's going to be like, oh my god, I actually had feelings for you the whole time. Or, bam, there they are because of how, like, I feel like this is more like I technically had feelings for you the whole time. I just couldn't really process them not because I didn't have emotions. I mean, like, before she lost her emotions, maybe she had feelings for Tomose, but she doesn't know how to process them because this is all new to her. And like, he's my best friend. Yeah, whatever. And you're just in that he's my best friend. Of course I care about him. Not realizing that there is a subtle difference from my best friend that I love to like my best friend that I'm in love with. And it's a subtle little shift that happens. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's been happening for a while. You know what I mean? It's not like you meet someone, you just talk to them and you're like, I think I'm in love with them. When you're friends with someone, you have feelings, you have love for that person. You know what I mean? And when it switches into being in love, you're already like, yeah, of course I love them. Duh, they're my best friend. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as sudden as new person I just met, I'm in love with you. Like, I hope you don't jump that fast into love, but love turning into a different type of love is a little harder to navigate and figure out. So I think it makes sense that she kind of always had these feelings, but then not having emotions also meant she can't get all confused about her things or just kind of push it off or get mad at him for things. And it's like, you have to process everything logically. And then when you get everything put back together, it's like, oh, these might have always been there. Especially because all your emotions come back smack you in the face and you're like, what the fuck? You're going to notice subtle things that you might not have because they built up over time. And now, hey, have all your crazy emotions back. Fuck. Maybe not. It's kind of like Data when he got emotion. We put the emotion chip in Star Trek. It was like, I have no emotions to like overwhelmed, Except for that was never ever having emotions to suddenly having fucking all of them way too intensely. And this is more like, I had emotions. I knew how to deal with them. I was gone. I didn't have them for a short period of time. But it's still got to be a little crazy getting them back where you're like, woo, it's different. It's a drastic change, you know? Anyway, then I said the first thing that came to mind. Look, let's go back together. If we all cooperate with one another, I'm sure we can get back safely. It'll take time to save up points again, but if we take it slow and work together... No. I didn't expect Tomose to shake his head in disagreement. He looked at me intensely. I haven't changed my mind in doing things over once we return to our world. But that doesn't mean I've accepted everything that happened in this world. Huh? I still hate the idea of you being in romance dramas with someone else. I know I'm being selfish, but I can't help how I feel. I also didn't want to do romance dramas anymore. That was at the back of my mind. I mean, especially because you're the only one that can do them, because you're the only girl here, so, like, that'd be kind of annoying. Especially if you're like, God, I hate this person. Some of the people here are cool, but some of them are like, I don't want to have to make out with everybody. Or, as they said, what happens if it goes further? Hell no! Like, nobody. And that's why I don't intend to stay in this world any longer. I want to get back as soon as possible. But, Tomose, you're at 0 points right now. And that's why I want to ask. What if I said I'll stay in this world for a long time? What will you do then? Huh? I mouthed that word and froze in surprise. Okay, I get what he's... Because at first, it was like, we'll all work hard, get points, and go back together. And he's like, nope. And I was like, wait, are you going to go back to I don't want to leave? It's the, no, we're not going back together. You're going to go back as soon as you get the points. It's going to take me longer because I'm at 0. I only have 399 points, Tomose. You're going to end up getting more points than me and getting back sooner. Let's just be real, okay? You had more than double the points that I had. Okay, not quite, but like you basically had almost double my points. So like, let's be real. You know what? It's not going to take you very long to catch the fuck up. To stay here? What do you mean? You know what I mean. I want to know how you feel. It can be anything. Just be truthful. What if I decided to stay in this world by myself? What would you do? You know, I think that's running away from your problems, Tomose. I don't want to go back without you, Tomose. We promised to go back together. Yeah, that's right. If I had to leave you behind to go home, then I'd sooner choose to stay here with you. Huh? I don't want you to sacrifice yourself. That wasn't part of the deal. I forced you to do something terrible when I insisted on taking the punishment game this time. Huh? What do you mean? Had that big fight in the past about Planet Warrior Planeton? Sigh. I know it's sigh. It's just typed there instead of like with asterisks or anything around it where you're like, I hated that part. Tomose, you disagreed. Oh, I did agree with what he did. A hero has to save someone even at the cost of his own life. Tomose, you reduced your points to 0 to save me. We're in the same situation right now. I don't want you to repeat that. If you have to sacrifice yourself like that, Tomose, then I'm staying too. Just like how you saved me, I want to help you too. I want to be of some help to you. I see. Tomose closed his eyes as I tightly held his hand. He then nodded as if he had made a decision. Okay, I guess too with his, I was thinking about this early, like about a minute ago. Like, as soon as he was like, yeah, no, what if I stayed forever? And it's like, oh, you just don't want to deal with the fact that, again, that's why I said it's not dealing with your emotions. Like, but that's exactly like, yeah, no, you could go back. I don't want to, because you're going to fall in love with someone else. And at least if I'm like, whatever, I'm going to stay here and like hide. Seriously, sweetie, don't. Right. And there's that way too. What way? And we have the bouncer here, so the producer might be listening in on this conversation. I'm sure they're plotting something for tomorrow's drama, too. I'll refrain from telling you everything right now. But I still appeared confused, so Tomose held my hand. I can't become a hero, but I will still protect you. I'll always do so. And that's why I want you to continue to believe in me. Promise me. I held my hand closer and kissed it. It's okay, right? I didn't know how to answer, so I nodded. I could tell that Tomose was still thinking of something crucial. Worried because he's probably thinking of doing something dangerous again, but I'm sure I communicated how I feel to him. Well, You didn't tell him that you kind of might actually be in love with him, but I guess you don't really know that either, so. I'll believe in Tomose. That's what I decided to do. Morning arrived. I went to the living room with Tomose and saw that everyone had already gathered. Yeah, I thought about a bunch of things, but all my plans are reactionary. Sorry, I couldn't come up with any good plans. Akase was the only one who said that, but I think everyone had tried to think of plans. Some of us even continued doing research on our bangles while on the brink of sleep. I'm grateful that you even tried. Thank you very much. No matter what plan we can come up with, the problem is that we don't know what the director's going to throw at us. I want to be like, do you not, though? But you might actually not. You know what I mean? You're the sponsor. You might not have as much insight as the producer. Like, is there someone in between the producer and the sponsor that's Gyobu? Because, like, I'm still like, how the fuck do you know, anyway. I hope there's a low risk path remaining for us, although it may be too late to expect that. The die has been cast. We just need to be ready for it. Everything he says is fucking shady. He just looks shady. Like, I couldn't keep up with all the complicated stuff. Faker! Lies! But if the drama is co-stars, then there are things we can do. It's a bit doubtful how much support I can give with my level of acting. The points come in at real time, so we can check the situation as we go along. About the drama, I'm thinking about refusing to appear in regular dramas and trying something alone. Huh? All you have to do is act, and you act well, so, like, you'll get points, even if it's 2. Be better than nothing. What do you mean? Suddenly, things were tense in the living room. Tomose called everyone to attention and spoke calmly. I mean, they gotta make it dramatic, and instead of like, oh, okay, I got my points back, and now we're... You know what I mean, but... I'm taking the offensive. Waiting for the drama of their choice is too risky. That's why I'll try to strike a deal with them. Once the preparations are done, I intend to call up the director. I'm very tired. And that may be true, but will you be able to get them to agree to favorable conditions? They won't give it up so easily. What happened yesterday was a bit forced. They should agree to it. It's a high-risk, high-return offer for both of us. But you didn't have to decide that alone. I'm not alone. I told you about it yesterday. And besides, I didn't say I'd do it all alone. I'll still need your assistance. What's that? I need everyone's information. And this is the preparation I just mentioned. It's for the decisive battle that's about to occur. We all gathered around Tomose as he suggested. I still didn't understand what was about to happen as I tried to dig through my memories for any useful bits of information. And then I entrusted everything to Tomose. True! I did say that I liked special rules. And you're suggesting not a drama, but a match? Oh, we did this with Futami. Okay. The director looked a bit confused in the completely quiet space. I mean, I was wondering when he said, I'll need everyone's information, and then I was like, are you? And I was kind of like, my brain was sort of like, but we don't know about the match stuff in this route, because we didn't talk about it, but interesting. There's a limit to how much I can compromise. I hope you'll speak with that in mind. Of course, I don't intend to force onto you things that are beneficial only to me. But when all's said and done, what you want is a stream that Arcadians can enjoy to continue on. Isn't that right? Yes, that's correct. Then this proposal can benefit you. First, if I win, allow all the current cast members to return to our world. But if I lose, I'll promise to remain here for all of eternity. As a cast member, that is. Everyone else started to murmur nervously. I mean, I knew we were getting to the end of his route. I didn't think we were going to get, like... Oh, by the way! He's going to agree to stay, and we're going to stay with him. He's going to lose, and we're going to stay with him. Come on. Everyone? Oh, so we're going back already. This means we back soon. I go, Abana's just quiet.
Only if he wins. And that would be great and everything, but, Bonjo, what are those conditions?
Stay here forever. But that means...
I see. So you'll continue with the stream as a cast member for as long as it takes. Do you think that'll work? Dramas can't be done alone.
I didn't say it'd be just me. She and I will both stay.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! I didn't agree to this!
After saying that, Tomose turned to me. At that moment, I remembered the question he'd asked me the day prior.
I feel like you... Okay, you just fucking pyramid schemed me into this.
What the hell? Are you and Futami in cahoots? Or like, who's got the craziest multi-level marketing scheme going on here? Like, what the hell is this? You're like, I said, but I didn't mean... Oh, fuck. That's it. So that's what he meant. And what if I decided to stay in this world by myself? What would you do? I don't want to go back without you, Tomose. We promised to go back together. Yeah, that's right. If I had to leave you behind to go home, then I'd sooner choose to stay here with you.
I didn't say for eternity!
Stipulations, man. Fine print. This was the plan that Tomose had thought of at the time. I meant I'll stay here with you until we get enough points to go home, not, like, stay here forever. He had offered us up as a wager. If that was the case, it should have been a good deal for the producer. Stay here forever. I started shaking. The reason for that was Tomose used that as the condition for... Tomose turned to me and his expression was the same as the night before when he asked me to believe in him. He's confident he can win, right? It's alright. We'll believe in you. I mean, I'm really, like, okay, because we've done 2 out of the 9 routes, right? And so far, we've stayed here. I mean, understandable in Iochi, because Iochi was trying to rescue everyone, so I kind of understand why we stayed here with them, right? And then, Tommy being the producer, not the producer, the sponsor, like, kind of makes it, okay, fine. But I'm not really sure, like, I just don't feel confident that we're gonna win this. And it's going to be like, oh, everyone else can go home and... Well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold on. If he wins... Wait. Hold on. If I lose to remain here for all of eternity... If I win, all the current cast members go back. If he loses... He stays here for all of eternity. So, I guess the stipulation is if Tomose loses, then, okay, everybody's staying here until they get enough points, and then they slowly go back home. But Tomose never gets to go back home. And we would stay here forever with him. So, like, new cast members would come in, and we're here, and that type of a thing. So, like... Because otherwise, it's like, everybody's still here if you lose, but now you're stuck here forever. It's not like, if I lose... Everyone gets to go home and I stay here forever. Because that's not, they're like, that's just letting everyone go home regardless. So, I'm, okay. Alright, I feel like they've put a mention that. Like, if I lose, you know, then we keep going, everyone will rack up points, get to go home when they go home, but I'll stay here forever because, you know. So that's the lost condition. But it's weird that the director's like, can't do the dramas alone because it's like, well, he wouldn't be alone. Everybody would still be here and they slowly go back home and then eventually, yes, then you'd pull other people, the new cast members or whatever, right? So like, you'd only be dwindling cast for a little while. Anyway, I mean, I guess it's because everybody either hits a dead end or goes home and, you know, although they did, Did they explain that the one prior to us? Did they? I know there was a point where nobody could go home, and then I thought they changed the rules or whatever. Now, whatever. But we can't see the last stream that happened because for whatever reason. But also, then we would know Ibana was here the last time. Obviously, Ibana got to go home, right? But, like, is it because he saved enough points and went home? But, like, what happens if, like, okay, again, this is my thought process, right? We saw the one with the girl that we knew and Ibana recognized, but we all forgot about her. Okay, so we know that. And we were like, oh my god, she was the last one standing. She just gave up because she couldn't do it alone. All right, so everybody at that point we were assuming got dead ends. We know in the last one, people got to go home. So Ibana went home because otherwise, he wouldn't. So, but here's the thing. This is our cast and crew, right? Okay, let's just forget Tomose. Let's forget this bed. We're all just here. We're getting enough points. Oh, look, Iochi's got enough points. Goes home. Then Akase goes. Everybody starts going home or hitting dead ends, whatever. You're going to get to the point where there will only be one person left. And if you are that last person left, like the director said, you can't act alone. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you'd have to rely on somebody that's there with you. It's just the two of you. You're going to act, I might have enough points to go home, but you got to trust that I'm going to be here trying to help you so that you get enough points, and now we both collectively have enough points to get ourselves home together. But you got to trust someone. Because, like, what if it comes down to you and another person, and you're like, all right, cool. I know you've got enough points to go home, and then you're going to stay with me, and then they're like, ha-ha, fuck off. And then you have no choice. You're fucked. The last man standing's kind of fucked. Unless you have, like, the last couple of people, like, okay, there's 3 of us here. Like, Tomose is going to be the last man standing, or Tomose would stay if we were the last person staying. Cool. You know what I mean? Or, like, are we going to, as a group, go, okay, all of us are going to stay here until everybody's got enough points. That's not going to work. Because you know the producer and the sponsors, or whatever, are going to try to, like, fuck with you and not get enough point and just to drag it out as long as possible. So, although that's a really good way of sussing them out, because it's like, why do you keep fucking up everything? You know, like Futami pushing Akase into a dead end. You know what I mean? Like, they would start doing things, like, you would have seen that and you would have been like, huh, okay, what did you say to him? Oh, no, it was an accident, whatever, okay. But then he would have been doing more things, suspicious things, and that's when you're like, but calling him out as the sponsor does nothing. And Haiji's really good at staying under the motherfucking radar. I'm still most sus person because, but that's the thing, right? Haiji could fuck up everything left and right, purposefully sabotaging people, but everyone's going to give him a pass because they think, oh, he's 12, he doesn't know anything. He's a motherfucking 30-year-old over here. I mean, I don't know. I'm assuming he's like same teenage age as the rest of us for real. You know what I mean? Like 16, 17, but just looks like a kid and is just playing that card because, again, he can absolutely sabotage everything. And the second someone goes, you know, he's the one that's dragging us all down. Do you think maybe he's the producer? Everyone's going to slap him and be like, what the fuck? Why would you say that about the kid? Like, if there was a talking cat, you'd be like, well, no fucking way. The cat didn't do anything. Maybe, actually, if it was a cat. If it was a dog, you would assume the dog was good, right? You'd be like, dog didn't do anything. Cat, you might be suspicious. What's real? Cats. I love cats, don't get me wrong, but they're sus, so. Anyway. So, I guess then, yeah, everyone's going to slowly go home, but we're really, actually, I mean, this isn't a bad wager. Everyone gets to go home, or we all stay here and slowly work toward getting our points back. I guess the worst part is Tomose and I are stuck here forever. Whereas we could just slowly get our points back. But nobody else is worse off, aside from me and Tomose, if Tomose loses. I'm kind of curious how this is going to end, because we've stayed, every route we've played so far, we've ended up staying here. And this is technically, like, the recommended, or, like, whatever, first route, you know, which makes sense. I really do think it should have been. But, so I'm wondering, is this going to be the one where you get to go home? Because you would think in Tomose's route would be the one where you get to go home. But so far, the two that we've seen, we don't get to go. But there were at least good reasonings for why we stayed. They're setting this up as a very good way to be like, everyone gets to go home. Yeah, Iochi's not doing their investigation and all that stuff, but, you know, that's part of it, right? That's part of the whole mystery of the game is like, you do Tomose's route first, okay, we all get to go home, but it's still kind of like cliffhanger, like, But what's going on? The stream's not ending. Other people are going up there, you know? And then you go through more routes and then you find out more, you know what I mean? So I really hope we get to go home because I don't want to be like, we're all of them, we get stuck here, you know? Doesn't make sense. So. But it might. I don't know. Well, anyway, after a long silence, the director nodded slowly.
Very well. Permission has been granted. If you two will be remaining, then we will welcome you. Procuring cast members has been a headache each time, after all. This isn't a bad deal. However,
What?
I'd like to make a small change to the conditions should you win.
A change? But
normally it would be set much later, but the reward of a return to your world has now been set to 1,000 points. Additionally, should you win this match, you'll be awarded 1,000 points. What do you say?
how is that different from just sending us back?
It's a matter of formalities on our end. We cannot set the precedent of allowing others to return by proposing a game. The game has been this way from the start. Upon earning a certain number of points, you can receive a reward in the form of a wish. And if returning to your world is your desire, then your wish shall be granted. This simply follows our original conditions.
I feel like there's something in the fine print we're not seeing here. Something in the terms and conditions going on that we missed, but I could kind of understand that. We'll grant you 1,000 points each because it's not just sending everybody back. Now, what's happening is you're giving people the option. So some people could be like, I opt to stay. You don't have to use those points. I understand that, but Mose hesitated. There was a reason that the director was purposely making this change. Exactly. There's more to this. I don't think you should accept this. I agree, but... See, and the sus is... Okay, listen. I would have said Gyobu saying that it's sus as fuck to begin with. But Futami agreeing with you makes you even more suspicious, as I'm just saying. Guilt by association, but also because I already was suspicious of Gyobu, so...
If you do not accept this, then the match will not take place. Are you sure?
All right. Then I'll follow your conditions. There's no meaning if they don't accept the match, so I guess it can't be helped.
Understood. Then let me hear your proposal for the game.
The game will be different from a drama, but it will focus on entertaining the Arcadians. I've seen the Arcadians enjoy this game before. Oh my god, are we playing fucking charades?
I see. And what is this game you speak of?
I don't think we should trust Gyobu in this. The game is charades. Oh my god. Charades? I repeated the word in my head. It sounded familiar. I remembered. It was from...
Oh, so you took my game for reference.
That's right. Gilbo was playing that in the park. He was doing it in front of the Arcadian children. And I'm sorry, this just makes him more suspicious. Like, oh yeah, I'm playing charades with the kids and then, like, implanting that. Like, I feel like that's a stretch. Because you know what I mean? Like, you talk about this when, like, movies or TV shows do that, where it's like, you're like, every single piece of your plan has to fall into perfect things, and you have to know every single person's reaction in order to get to where you are. How the fuck? Because writing. You know what I mean? It's not logical. But, like, this is, like, one of those moments where I'm like, am I supposed to believe that Gyobu was playing charades in order to implant charades in the head of Tomose so that when this happened, Tomose would think of charades and then... You know what I mean? And I'm like, obviously the writers were doing something there, like, oh, charades, we'll put that in so then later when he thinks of the game. And it could just be, that's the big leap. But I'm like, is there something else to this now? And like, because again, this is like a giant fucking leap of logic where Gyobu would have to be like premeditating, going, so if this happens, then this, like, you'd have to know that Tomose is going to confess his feelings to me, which, okay, you kind of already sensed he was in love with me. I'm not in love with him. Okay, cool. Wait, we can work with this. Like, you'd have to be sensitive to that to then go, okay, she's going to insist she doesn't love him, but he's going to confess, and then she's going to get a punishment game, and we'll take her emotions, and then this will happen. And then you'd have to plan this all out, and that's a lot. You know? But I don't trust anything that you got from Gyobu, so. Children there did seem to enjoy it a lot. I'll choose a specific word and use gestures to signify that word without speaking. The players will guess what the word is based on my actions. This is the weirdest fucking thing to risk your life on. Just saying. There will be no limit to the answers given in the allotted time, so you can answer as often as you want. However, the time limit is set to 3 minutes. The Arcadians will be the ones guessing. They can be anyone. You can choose the players. I was surprised at all the details. Not only that, Tomose then added more conditions to it. You decide on the word to gesture. Send it to my bangle before it starts. You can also judge the answers. However, you can't choose anything too complicated, or words that would be unfamiliar to Arcadians. It must be something they know and can answer. The game will have 4 rounds. If the Arcadians guess the word in all 4 rounds, then I win. One failure on my part is defeat. You pick the word, I have to make them get, not like, oh, if I can stump them, because that would be too easy. You're like, making a rock, they're like, rock, boulder, and you're like, it was snow. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could really fuck with them. I see. A game to guess the word. The director looked somewhat confused, but Iochi also spoke up, just as confused. The director looked confused. How can you tell? How can you tell? He doesn't have a face.
But, Banjo, doesn't that put you at a greater disadvantage? Even if you are a good actor.
It's reckless. The Arcadians aren't humans. They don't know many words to begin with. If you took from my game for your reference, you should already know that getting Arcadians to guess correctly is tricky. Now, see how this turns out. Maybe Banjo has a plan. You know, Chigasaki, that's not helping your case for you not being suspicious when you're like... It's like, Yobo's like, you know this is a bad idea, right? He's not wrong. Even if he is suspicious. And Chigasaki's like, let's trust him. I mean... Yeah, I guess we should. Because he's our boyfriend, but also... See, also, we haven't confessed our feelings to Tomose, because we don't know we haven't. So if we go home, we're going to go right back to where we were. So this also now is making me think they're going to set it up to me and Tomose stay here forever, and then we fall in love, because there ain't nobody else to fall in love with. You know what I mean? Love by association. Like, well, we're stuck here with you, so I guess. You know what I mean? Everyone went quiet after Chigasaki spoke. If the game gave Tomose any advantages, the director wouldn't accept it in the first place. So this can't be helped either. I was still worried. Tomose was trying to do what Gyobu was unable to. I wondered if it was possible. The way I saw it, having the Arcadians guess the word would be an impossible task. They couldn't talk or communicate at the start, and I didn't know if they even had emotions. They're creepy.
Arcadians may know words, but they do not understand nuance or the differences in things. Are you sure about this?
Not a problem.
If you insist, then I don't mind. If it works as entertainment, I don't care what it is. Then we'll use the Otherworld stream to broadcast this game. Are you sure about this as well?
Yeah.
Other cameras will be shut off, so you may freely enjoy this game. However, the Arcadians will be unable to hear your voice, so I hope you refrain from providing them with any hints.
You're worried about the hints, but he'll be gesturing alone.
Can't help. Now let us begin.
Oh my god. The Arcadians are going to show up and be like, the fuck? Are they watching all of this, maybe? Everyone's bangles started to ring. The game would be broadcasted to the Arcadians.
To all the viewers of the Otherworld stream, today we have a special stream for you. One of the cast members proposed a special game that'll soon commence. This game will have the residents of Arcadia join in on the fun.
His earlier reluctance had completely vanished. The director declared the details of the game with vigor.
The game's called Charades. The proposer will make gestures to signify a specific word.
The spotlight moved to Tomose.
There are many words to choose from. People, drama, ice cream, sky. Or they could be abstract things too.
Abstract, Jesus Christ.
He will not be allowed to speak a single word as he tries to signal the word using his entire body. This will likely be difficult.
Another spotlight shines on a space where there's no one to be seen.
The ones who'll take this challenge on are none other than our resident Arcadians. Try and find the answer the best you can. Also, depending on how this game goes, it will decide the fate of this cast member. Don't miss it! Anyway, let's bring out our very first contestant.
A single Arcadian then appeared where the other spotlight was. It was someone that looked familiar. Oh, it's the ice cream vendor from the park. He was surprised to be suddenly summoned, but he looked happy to see Tomose. Could you imagine? You're like, poof, you're like, I didn't opt for this. Why am I here? I have to guess the word? That sounds difficult.
You have 3 minutes. You have as many guesses as you want before then. Now let's begin. 3, 2...
Oh, wait, hold on. I still don't understand.
Start!
The game starts by force. I thought it was unfair, but that sort of interference felt more on the tame side. Tomose looked at his bangle and slowly started his act. He looked down on the floor and started to glance around. Oh, it's nerve-wracking just watching. Nerve-wracking! Stress! He crouched down and touched something small. He moved his fingers from the ground up about 20 centimeters in height. Tomose then made a faint smile. He gestured as if he was smelling something. Then he smiled again. Flowers! Is he smelling something? Then he put both of his hands together and he began to flap them. Oh, I think I know this. Butterfly? Even with such small movements, I immediately knew what it was. He's on the ground small and then he flaps something, but he's smelling something. You don't smell birds or butterflies, you smell flowers. It's a butterfly. Why would you smell a butterfly? He's like gesturing that he's smelling something. You don't smell a butterfly. But the flapping thing, like you... Okay. Tomose placed both hands near the floor. His hands made the shape of the wings from earlier and slowly started to flap them again. This should make it obvious that it's a butterfly, but... Wait, were there any butterflies in this world? Maybe the Arcadians don't know what butterflies are. What movement is that? I have no idea. I remember the conversation we all had before this match started. It was on that particular issue as we made preparations for this. I want everyone to tell me what they noticed while they went around this other world, especially about the Arcadians. About the Arcadians? And the content of your conversations with them, or what words come out during daily conversations. It can be anything minor. Yesterday I asked if there are any animals besides Arcadians in the world. You mean stuff like that? Exactly like that. What was their answer? They said they may see living things besides Arcadians sometimes, but it's rare. And I don't know why. Well, that's the thing. So, like, you told the director he can give you any questions. He's like, oh, butterfly. There's no such fucking thing as those here. Like being like, okay, charade quantum mechanics. Excuse me? And what is it that they see? I don't know. They don't seem to understand what living things are in the first place. This is just, I feel very confused. That's right. If what Akase said was true, there wouldn't be butterflies. They wouldn't understand smells either. Right when I realized it, Tomose also seemed to realize something. Maybe Tomose just remembered it too. He reset his act by swinging his hands. This is different from a normal gesture game. This has to be adjusted for Arcadians, but it's okay. There's still time. He stood up again, then crouched back down. Again, he touched something small. Pinched it with his thumb and index fingers, and he picked it up with his right hand. His left hand then swept close to the ground. The action looked like he was using scissors. He must have been cutting something. His right hand became free as if a string had been cut. Then he lifted it and placed it on his left palm. He kept repeating the same movements. 1, 2. He repeated that a few times and then started to make a weaving gesture. He knitting? He picked up of something from the ground in the beginning, like a cocoon. Then he added another. He repeated the process of adding more of the same and picked up the woven object to show it was round. It appeared to be a ring now. He dipped it into a ring. I've seen that from somewhere before. Gyobu suddenly burst out laughing, so I looked at him in surprise. What's wrong, Gyobu? Well, it's about your little knight. Did you tell him about that flower crown? Flower crown? Oh! I couldn't remember when, but Gyobu had asked me how to make a flower crown in the grasslands. But I refused at the time, saying that the flowers there weren't real. I'd felt a little guilty about it, so when he asked me a second time at the park, I taught him to do it properly. Although it wasn't very well made, it turned out somewhat cute. Tomo made a flower crown right now, didn't he? I got it immediately. You taught me how to make it at the park, after all. That ice cream vendor was also at the park. That's why, at the time... I got it! That's the thing that is made with flowers, right? But I don't know the name of it. Hearing that, Tomose's expression changed. He pulled a single thing from the crown. A flower. Is that all you need? Then the answer is flower! Correct! Well done. See, okay, why did we think it was a butterfly then? I mean, when she said... Okay, she's an idiot. It was like when he said something low on the ground, and then he was smelling, and it's like, you smell flowers. Yeah, you smell flowers. And then she's like, he's flapping around like a butterfly. I mean, I guess butterflies do land on flowers, but why would you gesture about a butterfly if you're trying to get flowers? You know what I mean? That's weird. See, he saw our exchange back then. We're lucky. Based on your description, it seems that Banja was also observing in secret. I had to say this to protect Tomose's honor, but after returning from the park, I told him about it. But I didn't know if the ice cream vendor saw it, so I didn't tell Tomose about that. He could have been really lucky. That's one right. I see. And that's why he wanted information on the Arcadians. That makes sense, but now there are 3 more. After almost 3 minutes of gestures, the Arcadian had finally guessed right. The director likely prepared words that would be progressively more difficult. That would have made guessing even harder. It wikily gets to quantum mechanics! The relaxed atmosphere suddenly tensed up again. I hope they can get the next one right, too. The following round was about to start. The Arcadian in the spotlight was switched out for another. Yay! I'll get it right, too! The Arcadian rolled up his sleeves. Something about that looked funny. I've never seen them make those kinds of movements before. They're trying to learn to become more human so they can infiltrate and possess human and, like, come and become humans. Because, like, hi, if you're an alien, it's like, no, wait. Let's observe these fuckers before we, like, infiltrate and take over. You know what I mean? You gotta know what the planet's like if you want to, like, blend in. Right? Come on. Listen, it's not because I know, because I've done this. I'm just saying, like, if you're like, I want to live on the world, like, you know? Like, if you want to be where the people are, you can't be like Little Mermaid, you know? She had to get legs first. And then she's combing her hair with a fork. Like, girl looked like an idiot, right? So you gotta observe and watch. You do this Otherworld stream, you see how people act, and then you can go down and be like, we can blend in. Yay! I'm just saying. This is all world domination. Or something. I don't know. Maybe they just want to be part of our world, like the Little Mermaid, okay? And they're just doing their best. Thank God they don't have a seagull telling them that a fork is a brush. Just, you know. They have a robot director teaching them how to emotion. Yeah. It seems to be kind of working out. They're learning shit, so. And now, let us begin the second round. As soon as it started, Tomose brought something in his right hand up to his eye level. He looked as if it were something serious. His hand was in a loose fist, as if he were holding a stick of some sort. He then placed the index finger of his other hand near the first knuckle of his right hand, then slid his finger away from it. However, near the end, he rapidly moved his hand back. He then looked at his left index finger. He looked like he was in pain. Maybe it's a knife. You would think so. Well, I guess the Arcadian should know what a knife is. However, Tomose swung what he held in his hands wildly and stabbed himself in the stomach. I almost cried out loud. The act seemed so realistic. Tomose had stabbed himself with his right hand and his face twisted in pain. Next, he pulled out whatever was in his hand from his stomach and threw it away. Clang, clang. I could almost hear that sound. Oh, I saw this in a drama a lot. It's that thing, you know? A murder case. No? Then a murder!
No, you're wrong.
The director was enjoying it. He was either enjoying the game or looking forward to Tomose's defeat. Then what is it? A knife? A sword? The Arcadian still looked confused, and Tomose then, he placed his hand on the invisible stomach wound, dug even deeper into his wound with his hand. An act, but I could feel the pain, too. He gritted his teeth and broke out in a greasy sweat. He then moved his hand away and, gathering his breath, and then held it out in front of him, so that the Arcadian could get a good look of the imaginary organ that he ripped out. It doesn't look like he's holding anything. If he were, then it's an organ. Whoa! Is that blood? Isn't that what it is? Humans get blood everywhere when you stab them. Okay, maybe we shouldn't be teaching them this shit. What are we? Okay. I thought you just wanted them to so they could live lives with humans and blend in, but now you're teaching them shit that maybe you shouldn't.
Correct!
The answer was blood. They really do remember the dramas that they watched. Yeah, they pay close attention and think about them. They do that more than I initially thought. Yeah, see, again, it's like you're conditioning them so that they get used to human society and then like they can just infiltrate. Not to take over necessarily, but so they can blend in and not stand out. But gauging perceptual differences between us and Arcadians is difficult.
That's not why you have the director prepare the words.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
He has no idea about the words that Arcadians know for certain. And that's why he added the restriction of words that the Arcadians don't know. And he had the director choose them.
It's so words that the Arcadians don't know can't be chosen.
Yeah, well, that's what it means. I see.
The next round! Next contestant. The next Arcadian showed up. This time it's a woman. Oh! She looks sort of flustered. Is this going to be okay? Now let's begin the third round! Huh? Oh! Start with signal, but she just looked around her surroundings in confusion. What's with her? She's not even looking at Tomo. How is she going to answer with that? That's part of his plan, probably. He knew he'd be sly about it. You can do it, Tomose. You too, Arcadian lady! In contrast to the panicking woman, Tomose checked his bangle, and then stood there motionless. Motionless? Sorry. He stayed in that spot as he looked to her. What do I do? She finally looked at Tomose, trembling a little when their eyes met. After peering into his gentle gaze, she became still. They looked at each other and froze. 1 minute had passed during that time. Why isn't he doing anything? Maybe the word is silence, or to be speechless, but... While we're guessing what it could have been, the woman who had gripped her hands nervously finally seemed to let go. Oh, I finally understood. Tomose was waiting for her to calm down. A serene silence arrived, and Tomose's gaze finally turned away from her. That was when his act started. His gaze quietly and smoothly glided to the ground on his right side. I saw the usual wrinkle between his brow as I sensed a strong emotion. But his lips remained tightly closed, and he shook as if he were enduring something. I looked carefully. It was the same with his shoulders. He was gripping his fist tightly, yet his arms still dangled to the side lifelessly. He didn't lift them up at all. Standing there, Tomose shivered slightly and averted his eyes as if to endure the emotion within. That's what it looked like to me. In the next moment, his shoulders heaved. He looked surprised as he placed his middle finger on his cheek, wiping something off. He looked at his finger, then back at the ground. Something fell. Rain? Although there was no sound, I felt a sigh. Mose sighed and then wiped his cheek with the pad of his finger again. He then bit his lip and closed his eyes tightly. Or tear? I was thinking it goes like with the emotion seems like he's crying, not like it's raining. I was at a loss for words. I felt the exact same emotion. When I watched the dramas, I never felt this way, so it's all so strange. She appeared confused as she stared at Tomose with her mouth open. Her expression seemed to express slight pain. I thought dramas were fun things, but when I see it in front of me here, it's so sad. I want to wipe those tears for him. He sees it too. It was the tears that Tomose showed out of sadness.
The director. Well, wasn't that the right answer? That's what it looked like to me.
The director remained quiet as Iochi pointed it out. The director responded as if he was left without a choice.
Correct.
I heard everyone sigh with relief. I felt the same way. Tomose is amazing. While I wanted to praise Tomose, I was also feeling something else. Why did the Arcadians... How did they change so much? I don't see them as monsters anymore. They're the same as us now. That's all they were trying to be. I mean, okay. If it comes down to the end, like the Arcadians are just like alien kind of things, or maybe we're once humans that, because like they turn us into data and then you got to get all the pieces back or whatever type of a thing, What if, because I feel like we can't be on Earth in this giant thing. We're digital. Our bodies are there. We're here. But what if the Arcadians are just like what used to be people, and then like whatever shit happened to that moon base, right? Is like we're just trying to get these people back. Well, we can't but they're just starting over as they're just bits and baubles of data, and then we're turning them. They turn into sludge, but like we're trying to turn them into people again. What if they originally were? You know what I mean? We're like, well, that's bits and pieces of 3 different people, but like we're trying to like make them a cohesive person. So like we're Frankenstein and shit, maybe, or they're aliens, and it's like we're trying to get them to understand human so that they can kind of incorporate into human life and just go about and not be like exiled, left out, or experimented on. Like there's people that are, because obviously the Information Bureau knows about shit going on here. We know from Iochi, and then Iochi's supervisor was like, nah, we're gonna let it happen. You know what I mean? So it sounds like there's some kind of government conspiracy going on, and like, maybe it's nice. I mean, sure, it's not really nice what's happening to us. They're using us as pawns, and everybody dies, and like, dead ends happen, but like, so I'm confused about that. But maybe the underlying purpose isn't totally nefarious, even if the rules are. You know what I mean? Or there's some other kind of thing. It's like, yeah, no, take like, okay, again, a couple hundred people and they die in the process so that you don't blow up Earth, and that's fine, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're getting a better return on it. You're not destroying the world. You're just killing a couple hundred people so that you can understand and then live peacefully. This is our only option. Like, we don't have a choice. There's no way we could fight these aliens. So we just have to let them kill a handful of people so they don't kill all of us. I mean, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I mean, I don't know. But there's some kind of alien things, and like I feel like the whole point of the dramas is not like let's watch murder games. It's more like so that they learn how to become human. I mean, I'm not saying that their means aren't fucked up, but the end result is like, well, good for them. They're trying. That's kind of nice in a fucked up kind of way. You could have just asked. You could have just broadcast TV streams to them instead of kidnapping people. Not really sure the point of kidnapping people. When you could just be like, let's just tap into CBS and like, you could just pirate some cable. Come on. You know what I mean? Send them movies and shit. I don't necessarily know what this purpose is, but logic. It wouldn't be fun. We wouldn't have a game if it was like, yeah, there's aliens that live on the moon that want to be like humans. So we just send them movies and books and shit. And like people go up there and teach them and then come back. Like, like, you're volunteering to do a stint for like 3 months teaching Arcadian Spanish. Cool. Good job. Have fun. You know what I mean? Like, that wouldn't be as much fun. Anyway, they're the same as us. I can only see them as human. Yeah, see? It's 3. Only 1 round left.
see what impossible thing he chooses. Oh, don't say that. Even Banjo is expecting it.
A long silence continued while we waited. The director had suspended the game while we all waited in silence. The next one's the last. If it's right, then we can return to our world. I don't know which way it's going to go. If it's wrong, Tomose and I will have to stay here for the rest of our lives. For some strange reason, I didn't feel down. And the fact of the matter is, you're just data here. We kind of know that. Your body's not here. So, like, when your body dies on Earth, does your data or whatever the fuck is here die too? Or your body dies and you're here forever? So, like, the rest of our lives is not like, oh, well, we'll die at 80. No, you're literally here for eternity. People are going to be like, it's the year 46,000. And you're going to be like, what? It's been millennia. There's going to be millennia going by you. Like, Jesus. For some strange reason, I didn't feel down. I pressed my hand over my heart, and I felt the same answer from it. It continued to beat without fear. Even if that were to happen, I'm not afraid so long as Tomose is with me. I'd rather stay here with Tomose than go back home alone. I would regret that for the rest of my life. And that you would, because you would absolutely die without Tomose, because he's going to be here eternally. I didn't want to be separated from him. At that moment, I finally realized what the emotion swelling in my heart was. Duh! What do I call it? Romance? Love? Not sure. It's all the same to me. Told you she had these feelings all along, and it just took that, whatever. I want to be with him. We would argue because of differing opinions. In spite of that, I would much rather face him than to be separated. Even though I took a reckless method, I wanted Tomose to understand how I felt, because he was special to me. So, I was thinking, if we don't stay and don't go back home, that gives you the opportunity to be like, oh, okay, now I'm going to slowly fall in love with Tomose, and they leave it open kind of like that. Like, oh, yeah, our love's beginning, but we're not totally, and you're like, oh, okay, that's why they're going to stay here forever and fall in love. But now that she recognizes she has feelings, it's like, oh, I don't know, that makes it a little bit more like we go home. I mean, they could still go either way, but there was only one person who could move my heart like that. There was one person I wanted to understand me. Tomose. Can't be anyone else. I want to be by his side. I love Tomose.
Last round.
Let's bring in the contestant. After a long silence, the director finally moved. The Arcadian was called in. It was a small child. Oh dear.
Huh? Me?
Oh, you're gonna have to try to explain astrophysics to this kid?
It's the same kid I played charades with.
So he's played it before. Doesn't that mean it's an advantage for us?
It's the opposite. I played lots of games with that kid and he's never been right.
Not even once?
He might know the word itself, but he can't think his way to the idea.
Even though he's an Arcadian, he's kind of like a human child. And gesture games are difficult for kids. They got us there. That's right. When I saw Gyobu play the charades game, the kid was just laughing the entire time. He's never gotten anything right, and it seems he never intended to get it right in the first place. How would it be possible for that kid to arrive at the right answer? Everyone became quiet, and the ruthless final round began. I know this is going to go on for a while, and I don't have like a super long time to be able to like, I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to stop in the middle of this scene. I know I'm cock blocking us both, but I might have a little bit longer, but I don't quite have long enough where I think this scene's going to go. It could be over in like 2-3 minutes. It could be another 15. You know, I can't risk that at the moment because I'm recording over lunch. So yeah. Plus, I feel like we're getting down to the end, and I'm kind of concerned that this scene is gonna like go in and then go into our end, and like I don't know. So, but anyway, I know it's the middle, but it's on a cliffhanger now. Aren't we excited for this? You have to wait. I have to wait. Anyway, I will see you guys next time. I'm sorry. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.